I was invited to join Google as an L6 staff engineer. I was initially offered base salary of $235,000. Target bonus of
wow, 235K base salary, guys, right? Only the base, guys, right? Imagine the stock. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Genie Coder. For you here, I pretty much do LeetCode questions and I help people master the data structures and algorithms, right? So this is pretty much what I do on this channel. So today we have a pretty good video, that a pretty good post that I'm gonna be reacting to, guys. So this is just part another video as part of our series of experiences that we look at, right? So we can gain the motivation and inspiration from those posts, guys, right? I told you guys in that video that I made on how to be motivated, right? How to stay motivated, right? While grading LeetCode, I went over the pretty much what I normally do. I'm saying before every session of LeetCode, right? So I can have the right mindset and stay motivated on my path, right? So this is a very good thing that I also advise you guys to do, right? This is the reason why I'm introducing you guys to the problems, the post that I'm pretty much reading, right? This is pretty much the reason why, right? So yeah, guys, so right now we're going to be reading it. So let me go ahead and kind of open up the stuff, right? So this is the post called the Google Mountain View Woman in Tech, right? L6 offer, right? So this person got an L6 offer, which is a pretty good thing, guys. A very huge deal, guys, right? So yeah, so we'll want to see what her story was like. How was she able to obtain such a high position? Especially she's saying that she transitioned from math to software engineering, right? You know what I'm saying? So we want to see what she's doing, what kind of resources she's gonna pretty much help us so we can emulate the same thing and hopefully land those high offers, you know what I'm saying? High stuff like that. So yeah, without further ado, guys, I'm gonna have my assistant actually read it to us today, right? So I normally read it, but my assistant is gonna be reading it today. So let's go ahead right now. Let's press play. Okay, let's go ahead. Let me also put on my headphones. Okay, I got my headphones ready, so I'm just put that in so I can actually listen and know what my assistant is talking about, right? So let's go.
About me. I have an undergrad degree in mathematics from a top-tier American university and have been working in Silicon Valley for 10 years. I'm currently a principal engineer at a startup that was recently acquired by a second-tier tech company, think HP/Cisco/IBM. I'm a named inventor on 8 patents, although half are vanity patents with little economic value. I have also made non-trivial contributions to several major open-source projects.
Okay, so first things first, so we kind of see that she's pretty accomplished, right? She got a undergraduate degree in mathematics, right? So you got to be extremely smart to from a top-tier American university, right? So she got a math degree from a prestigious American university, right? So you kind of already know. And she's been working in Silicon Valley for 10 years, bruh. She is like she's a beast, right? She's already, you know what I'm saying, she's been around. I thought she had just went from math to software engineer when she got into Google, I was gonna say, but she's already well accomplished and done a lot of things right before. So yeah, I do see that she's very good, right? So let's see, let's continue with the rest of the story, guys.
Decision to leave. My startup was acquired and the management was forced out. I didn't like the company's trajectory, so I made the decision to start preparing for interviews. I really wanted to work for Google. I wanted to work with other top caliber engineers. I am also paying for my wife to go to medical school, and Google is among the highest paying tech companies. I was afraid of interviewing too early and not.
It's true, Google's they pay very well over there, I'm saying. So a lot of people are pretty much want to get into Google, right? Because of their really high paying positions, guys, right? So yeah. And yeah, and their interviews are, definitely one of the hardest interviews, right? So
Doing well. If I failed my interview, I would have to stay at my current job for a year before I could try again at Google. I knew I would have to spend months studying math and
It's true. She said she was afraid of really not doing well, right? I'm saying because you want to give yourself enough time so that when you're doing the problem, guys, right? You are able to come up with the solutions on your own. You want to be well prepared, guys, because having to wait a whole year, right? You know what I'm saying is not really a good thing, right? So that's why it's always to give yourself ample amount of time so that when I'm saying you feel, yeah, this is the best I could prepare. I'm saying I'm the best thing I could do right now, and I'm gonna do my best, right? So you don't want to pretty much do it prematurely, right? I'm saying before you are ready, you don't want to get to all that, right? So if you did the right thing, I'm saying you need months, guys, to really get up to speed and kind of get in that mindset. Especially, I told you guys the LeetCode problems, right? I'm saying not a thing you deal with on a day-to-day, right? So especially dynamic programming, benchmark, all those kind of things that it's your concepts that you have to learn. You don't go through them every day. So because of that, you need to give yourself enough time to study, right? Pretty much, what I'm saying? Spend a lot of time on that.
Domain knowledge review. My domain requires a deep background in graduate-level mathematics. I only have a BA in mathematics, but I took the standard first/second year graduate math classes as an undergraduate. To review, I attended a virtual academic conference focusing on my domain. I watched each talk until I was no longer able to follow the math. I kept track of my missing knowledge and used my notes to prioritize textbooks for review. LeetCode. I did about 200 LeetCode problems.
Okay.
I started doing random easy problems to identify the fields that I needed to study. I quickly realized that I needed to relearn algorithms.
Yeah, right. So she did the right thing, right? She did about 200 problems. And she started doing random easy problems, right? I'm saying, okay.
I created several favorites lists to keep track of problems that I struggled with. I saved problems in groups based on their difficulty and my assessment of their importance. I was eventually able to solve most LeetCode hard problems in under 30 minutes.
Wow. Wow. She is elite, guys, right? Most hard problems in under 30 minutes, right? So she definitely part of the, what I'm saying, the top people of LeetCode, right? So, yeah. So this girl's very good at what she does, right? So, LeetCode, let's go.
Some problems required verbose code to handle numerous edge cases. For such problems, I made it my goal to have the core algorithmic code written out in 30 minutes. If the solution required long sections of trivial code, I would stub out a subroutine and mark it to do. I find that many interviewers, myself included, prefer to move on to another question and not waste time completing trivial to-dos.
She's giving pretty much good advice, right? So pretty much you can say you will be implemented to do, right, a subroutine later on, right? You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes they might even let you get away with it by not even having to code it up, right? So, yeah, it's a very good thing, right?
General algorithms. As a pure math major, I never took an algorithms class.
Okay.
To prepare, I read CLRS cover to cover. If I had trouble understanding a topic, I watched the corresponding lectures on MIT OpenCourseWare. I looked over all the exercises in CLRS. If I didn't see the solution, I looked up the answer online. I didn't write up any solutions, although I probably should have for better learning. Since I had a strong math background, it only took me about 3 weeks to work through CLRS. Sometimes I even felt that I was slacking off and spending too much time on advanced topics that were unlikely to be covered in interviews. For LeetCoders lacking a strong pure math background, I would suggest only reading the chapters covered by MIT's 6.06 Intro to Algorithms class. The remaining portions of CLRS are not needed for most LeetCode hard problems, although some techniques may be required for optimal solutions. Perhaps I'm biased as a math major, but I found that working throughout the formal proofs was the most helpful part of CLRS. A formal proof is only way to be sure that your algorithm works. Before working on LeetCode hard problems, I would mentally sketch out a proof of the algorithm's correctness. The proof sketch helped me identify edge cases and ensured that I wouldn't need to backtrack once I started coding. Green Book. I did all the exercises in Gail Lockman McDowell's book, Cracking the Coding Interview, aka the Green Book. Google's coding interview tool does not provide a mechanism to run code. Candidates are expected to debug by mentally stepping through the code. To best emulate the interview environment, I wrote up my solutions in a text editor. I only invoked the Python interpreter after I had mentally verified the correctness of my solution.
That's very good of her because she's mentioning about the the cracking the coding interview, right? I'm saying, also known as the Green Book, right? So this book, right, is kind of very, very common for people. I'm saying who do coding interviews, guys. So I've never really used it myself, but I heard it's a very, very great book, right? And also she said about for Google, right? You know, you have to pretty much, you can't run the code on the when you code it up, right? You have to mentally do it right in your head, right? I'm saying, kind of walk through the code, right? I'm saying, so that's why, you know, I'm saying what she's saying right there, right? It's a very, very good. It's best to pretty much do it in a text editor, right? Kind of simulate the environment that you'll be in the coding interview, right? Because when you're in the interview, you won't be able to pretty much do run the code, right? You're gonna have to pretty much do the work yourself, right? I'm saying, so I'm saying it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to really put yourself in there, guys, right? Let's go ahead and refinish it.
Language choice, Python. I taught myself Python 3 to use in coding interviews. I had done a bit of coding in Python, but I was far from an expert in the language. I chose Python since the batteries included approach allowed me to focus on the underlying algorithm.
That's a very good thing, you know what I'm saying? When you are trying to choose a language for a coding interview, right? I'm saying it's always good to, first thing, you need to pretty much your strongest language that you're comfortable in, right? I'm saying, but let's say your strongest language is C. Doing the coding interview in C is definitely doing it the hard way, guys, right? So not only now you need to worry about the underlying algorithm, right? Also need to worry about the internal data structures and all of the, you don't have enough support in C to actually do that, right? So in Java, Python, you have a lot of support, a lot of libraries you can use to help you in solving whatever problem, right? So you only need to worry about the underlying algorithm, right? I'm saying, which is needed for this whatever problem that you're trying to solve. And C doesn't really have a lot of help, and you need as much help as you need when you are in an interview setting, guys, right? Because every second counts, and it's not like you have time to waste. You have time to do whatever. I'm saying, yeah. And it's not like because you're doing it in C, they're gonna be more lenient in their rating, right? Say, oh, it's in C, you know, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? All based on, you know what I'm saying? I'm guessing, right? It's based on, did you solve the coding interview? Did you do this? Did you do that, right? And it's not about pseudocode. You have to actually write compilable code, you know what I'm saying? So no, none of that BS, I'm saying.
Code readability. Most answers posted on LeetCode's forums are quick and dirty hacks that pass all test cases, but do not explain the underlying algorithm. For fun, the readability of the code is just as important as the correctness of the algorithm.
That's very true, because, you know, all in the discussion section, right, we do see a lot of those kind of posts, right, where people are just, you know what I'm saying, quick and dirty hacks, right? It passed all the test cases, but it's not the kind of code that you would present to what's it called, the present to the interviewer, right? I'm saying, because it wouldn't make sense. So I'm saying, because it's not readable. I'm saying one-liners, all those kind of things, right? I'm saying they kind of look cool, but people are like, oh, is this how this person is gonna code when they get hired? I don't want this kind of. We want a readable code that anybody could follow. They could just go to your code and kind of follow through the logic or whatever we're trying to be done, right? So that's the type of thing that it is, guys, right now. So I want you guys to understand as well, right?
Some suggestions for writing readable Python code. Named tuples.
Okay.
Named tuples make your code more readable. The meaning of heap entry .price is obvious. The meaning of E0 is not. Descriptive variable names. Left pointer and left value are better than LP and LV. Type hinting. Always use Python type hints, even if not using type checking. Split complex statements. Just because you can do it on one line doesn't mean you should.
Facts.
Short functions. Avoid excessive indents and split your code into small and readable functions. Use to-do comments to mark functions that you have declared, but not implemented. Comments. Describe and justify non-obvious aspects of your algorithm. Comments allow the interviewer to understand your intended algorithm even if your code has an implementation bug. Spelling counts. Incorrectly spelled variable names look sloppy. Here is an example of a readable solution to a LeetCode problem. Code style. I read Google style guides and made sure I understood the basis for each requirement. I felt it was important to be able to justify my code style choices if an interviewer asked. I also wanted to be prepared to explain which style points were backed by logical justifications and which ones were just arbitrary preferences. A friend at Google suggested working on readability and style before diving into LeetCode problems. It was good advice. I made sure each LeetCode solution did not just spit out the correct answers, but also showed the interviewer I could write code that other people could follow.
Like I said, guys, exactly right. You want to, this is a very, very important thing, right? Once you're doing those kind of things, right? The problems, you need to make sure that, anybody could follow your code, guys. Somebody else could go pick it up, you know what I'm saying? Because when you write code in production, right, I'm saying other engineers are going to be interacting with that code, you know what I'm saying? If they have to, let's say, even though they live in the company, right, and they have to maintain it, right? How much work is it going to take, right? Do they need to pretty much, what I'm saying, can they just look at your code and kind of see what kind of logic or what you're trying to do? Or is it like kind of messed up and the style just very weird, and it's pretty much impossible to just kind of know what that code usually trying to do, you know what I'm saying? The only person that might know about the code, what the code's trying to do, is the owner, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes after a couple of weeks, right, you write the code, you go back to the code, you probably don't even recognize like what the heck you were trying to do, you know what I'm saying? So it's what they're talking about, and make sure you have good style, guys, right? I'm saying, so something we need to keep improving on, right? So it's very, very good, especially if you're trying to get into those kind of companies, guys, right?
Cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet, okay, nice.
I prepared an interview cheat sheet as I encountered topics I was unfamiliar with. I intended to use the cheat sheet as a crutch if I needed to look something up during an interview. My cheat sheet included Python libraries and syntax that I found difficult. I included, for example, the function signatures from libraries like itertools, defaultdict, and heap.
Okay.
Algorithms I had rarely used, but that might be needed for some problems. I had never encountered Kahn's topographic sort or Cudane's algorithm, but I knew that they would be critical for certain problem classes. If I came across a LeetCode problem and I knew the cheat sheet could help, I looked at the cheat sheet first. I eventually memorized almost everything on the cheat sheet. I had the cheat sheet open during my interview, but I never looked at it.
What? Something we could do? We could have a cheat sheet or something like during our interviews. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's, yeah, right. Maybe you can. I'll start asking that now. Like, this can probably save me some. Like I'm saying. Oh yeah, nice.
Past experiences grid. Amazon's leadership principles are applicable to many companies. I prepared a spreadsheet explaining how I fulfilled each of them. I used the star format to give context to my interviewer.
That's a very good thing that she's saying right there, guys, right? So Amazon and their leadership principles, man, they really care about that over there. And yeah, so if you end up practicing for Amazon, like your behavioral rules, right, you'll be ready for any other company that have behavioral guide, because they're not going to be in as much detail as Amazon, right? Because Amazon really puts an emphasis on the behavioral portion of their interviews, guys, what I'm saying. So the very, very good thing, make sure that if you need us kind of practice, go through the Amazon leadership principles, right? And then you'll be fine, guys.
Practice interviews. It was 7 years since I had interviewed before, so I wanted to practice. I decided to interview with a few second-tier Silicon Valley companies. I'm a bit of an Aspie, and my social skills are not always the best. My first few interviews were terrible, and I didn't get any offers.
Wow, you see, even she went through those kind of hard moments, right, where you get rejected, guys, right? I'm saying, 'cause that's part of the game, guys. If you're putting yourself out there trying to get as an offer, I'm saying it can go two ways, right? Either you get the offer or you don't get the offer. I'm saying there's only two possibilities, right? So rejection is not that bad, right? So once you kind of been rejected like a lot, and you kind of, I'm saying, don't care about it that much, right? So she started doing interviews again, right? I'm saying, because she probably the last time she did it was 7 years, right? I'm saying, she went back on the market, right, trying to get interviews, got interviews, but was failing like a lot of the, you know what I'm saying, initial ones, right? So we'll see how she recovered from those initial kind of failures, and how she kept on going, right? So that's kind of a good thing. What kind of mindset does she have to continue on this journey of encountering all those kind of failures, right? So let's go.
I asked my wife to listen in on practice interviews and give me feedback. My wife isn't an engineer, but she was able to give me a third-party perspective on how I could improve my self-presentation.
Yeah, it's always good, to have somebody, to practice the behavioral interviews, right? If you got any significant other or any family members, right? They might help you out with those kind of with that portion of this interview, right? So get as much practice as you can so that you're in the flow when you get to the interview, guys, right? So very, very good. You don't want to get stuck and you buffling on your words and all of that, right? So yeah.
Application. After 6 months of studying, I was able to consistently solve LeetCode hard problems in under 30 minutes.
Wow. She became into a beast, right? She did almost consistently solving hard problems in under 30 minutes, guys, right? So she was definitely more than ready, man. Damn.
It was time to apply. I have lots of friends that work at Google, but none were in a position to give me a strong professional reference. I decided to just submit my application online and see what happened. A recruiter followed up the next day and asked to schedule a call. Waiting game. The recruiter said that she would circulate my resume to several teams and get back to me. I expected this to be a short process, but I didn't hear back for 3 weeks.
Okay.
The recruiter finally called back with good news. Several teams liked my resume. Furthermore, I could skip the initial coding phone screen and come directly to a virtual on-site. Team lead.
Wow. So that's very good. I mean, she was able to pretty much skip the initial phone screen, right, and go directly into the virtual on-site. That's a good thing, you know what I'm saying, that she was able to bypass that and also go through the virtual on-site, right? So that means they're very interested in her. And yeah. So let's see the rest of the
screen. I was invited to meet with a hiring manager to see if I would be a good match for a given team. I was honest with the manager. I had some of the skills he wanted, but I lacked experience in certain languages and was not as knowledgeable as other candidates with a PhD.
Okay.
Virtual on-site. My virtual on-site was 5 rounds.
5 rounds, guys, right? 5 rounds. Wow. Let's see how hard they were, guys, because we know that Google's known for those hard interviews, guys, right? So they're known for that, right? So let's see how did she do, right? You know what I'm saying.
Round 1, coding / binary trees / sorting. I first was asked to find the size of the largest uni-value subgraph of a binary tree. The question was similar to LeetCode number 687, but I was looking for the size of the subgraph instead of the length of the path. The best solution would have involved global variables. I wrote a somewhat convoluted solution that used multiple return values instead of a global variable. My solution was not the cleanest, but it was readable since I used named tuples to pack/unpack the return values.
Okay, so
I only had 7 minutes left for the second question.
Damn.
The interviewer asked me to design an algorithm to sort a dataset that was too large to fit in the RAM of any one server. Most of the discussion focused on the trade-offs if data transfer speed was orders of magnitude slower than an optimal n log n sort on a given server. Self-rating, weak, pass.
So yeah, so she felt like as if she didn't do as well on that one, right? So the first binary tree question, right, she kind of did all right, right? And the second one, right, the sorting, I'm saying, was, like I said, she was slower than optimal, right? So yeah, she gave herself a weak pass. So let's see how she did for the remaining of the rounds, right?
Round 2, coding / multithreading. My second interviewer asked me to implement a reentrant lock from just a lock. I kind of panicked when I saw the question. I had never done any serious work with multithreading. I eventually wrote up a workable solution, but the interviewer said it had a bug. I spent the remaining 20 minutes searching through my code. I tried to mentally execute each line and see if I ever encountered a race condition. When we reached the time limit, the interviewer spent a few extra minutes guiding me to my mistake.
Wow. So,
Self-rating, fail.
yes, man, that's our worst fear, guys, to get a question or some kind of topic that we're totally not familiar with, right? And we have to figure out on the spot, right? That's pretty much the worst case scenario, I'm saying. And you pretty much try to code up something, I'm saying. And yeah, and hopefully get some brownie points for trying, right? So this is probably your worst round yet, right? So she totally failed, guys. So we see from round one, round two, she's not doing so well yet, right? So, but yet, I'm saying, let's see the remaining ones, guys, right? So I think she's gonna do extremely well. Those are my guess, right? So let's see how she does, guys.
Round 3, domain //past experience. My third interview focused on my domain expertise and my past experience. The interviewer was a somewhat well-known Googler, and I had read some of his publications. I was a bit intimidated. I was about to be quizzed by one of the most well-known names in my field.
Okay, so this person knows his stuff. Right, he knows his stuff, man. So she won't be able to BS, right? So let's see what's up.
Fortunately, his questions focused on the concepts he knew best and had described in his publications. Since I had read his publications, I sounded like an expert with my answers.
Nice.
I debated if I should tell him that I recognized his name. I didn't want it to look like I had only knew the answers because I read the papers. I decided to ask him if he was the same man who had presented at a recent technical conference. He said yes and seemed honored that I already knew who he was.
It's always good, man. I'm saying you give him that ego boost, right? Make it feel like he's popular. So she did the right thing there. She said, hey, look familiar, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that kind of put the interviewer in a good mood, right? You know what I'm saying? And now the interviewer's gonna be more inclined to really give a strong pass because she already knows the answers, right? I'm saying she already knows stuff that's related to her domain or whatever. I'm saying she's very knowledgeable already, right? And then she also get that personal skill, right? I'm saying able to relate to other people, right? Social skill. So that's gonna really elevate her on even more, guys, right? So let's see.
Self-rating, strong pass.
Nice.
Round 4, system design. I was worried about the system design interview since I had never built a web-scale user-facing system. Fortunately, the interviewer asked me to design a system that solved a problem in my domain, but not at web scale. I had built a similar system at my current job, so it was easy for me to explain the design trade-offs. Self-rating, strong pass.
Nice.
Round 5, Googliness // leadership. The Googliness interview was focused on my leadership skills. I found this interview hard for 2 reasons. First, my past experiences were as an individual contributor and not as a leader. Second, I've been diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder and my social skills are not always polished. The interview ended up being repeatedly asked to explain how not to be a jerk. I sometimes felt like I was reciting tips from a website about improving social skills. Self-rating, weak pass.
Damn. Wow, that's our googliness, right? And yeah, so she gave herself a weak pass, all right? So she probably did, you know what I'm saying, those reflect pretty much her self-rating, guys. She may have done a good, extremely good, or you know what I'm saying, or extremely bad on the, you know what I'm saying, whoever's grading that, right? I'm saying, so those are simply her self-ratings, guys, all right? So let's see what's up, man. So she gave herself, let's recap, right? Weak pass, a fail, right? Strong pass, and a weak pass, right? So she looked like she did all right. I'm saying she did all right. Let's see what's up. Let's see what they say.
Good news. The recruiter called me 2 days after the interview and said that she had collected the initial feedback. 4 of the 5 interviews were a strong pass.
Wow. 4 out of 5 of the interviews, guys, right? So she was grading herself even harsher than the interviewers who were grading her, guys, right? So you see what I'm saying? So yeah, It's yeah, it's always based on the person interviewing you guys. That's the rating that actually matters. What I'm saying. Yeah, so you need to also be able to assess your. It's always good to assess yourself harsher because I'm saying you kind of don't get your hopes up or whatever I'm saying. Instead of being too lenient, right? I'm saying, and you're expecting an offer and you get a rejection, which is not good, guys. Right? So let's go.
One interviewer had not yet submitted feedback. She asked about my salary expectations if Google made me an offer, but she cautioned that hiring committee would still have to review my packet. I was somewhat surprised that 4 of my interviews were a strong pass. Perhaps my self-assessment was overly critical.
Okay, like I was saying, guys. Yeah.
The offer. A few days later, the interviewer called me with an offer. I was invited to join Google as an L6 staff engineer. The level surprised me. Most Googlers never.
Wow, guys. Wow, she was able to get an offer, guys, as an L6 staff engineer, guys. So that lets you know she did extremely well on the interviews, guys, right? So even better than she had thought, right? So this is an extremely big deal, guys. Right? I'm saying I'm very happy for her. She worked hard, and she totally deserves it, guys. Right? So it's always good to actually hear those kind of good stories, guys. I'm saying of grinding and grinding months and months on end, right? Really, really, I'm saying can end up in a pretty good spot, right? After you do all that, guys, right?
Make it past L5 and didn't think I was in the same league as the other L6 engineers I had met.
Wow. So wow.
Compensation. I was initially offered base salary of $235,000. Target bonus of
Wow. 235K base salary, guys, right? Only the base, guys, right? Imagine the stock, the bonus, and all of those extra things, guys. Wow. People are getting paid over there, man.
20%. I'm told that most employees receive a bonus well above target. $500,000 stock. No signing bonus.
$500,000. Wow.
Negotiation. I was excited, but I put on my poker face and said that I would think about it after I looked at my other offers. I was bluffing and didn't have any other offers.
So it's always good, guys. She is giving us game, guys, right? You need to make sure that I'm saying she did it well. She gave a poker face. Some of my other videos while I'm saying I call you and you were talking about it, right? You don't, what I'm saying, say, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to, and say, hey, yeah, say nonchalant and just say, hey, I'll consider it. I'll take a look and whatever I'm saying. Yeah. So she was doing the same thing. I'm saying, even though she's extremely excited to be joining Google because Google's her dream company, right? She's not overly showing like the emotions too much, right?
I decided to
So she shows she can have leverage. What I'm saying.
ask for a 40K signing bonus. I sent an email to the recruiter explaining that I felt I deserved a signing bonus since I would be forfeiting equity at my current job. About a week later, the recruiter emailed me back and said that the compensation committee had approved the signing bonus.
That's right, guys. It's always good to negotiate on your behalf, right? So you need to be able to ask, I'm saying, as part of the negotiation process, right? So don't be overly timid about it. Just ask them. I'm saying it's not like outrageous ask, like you're asking for $4 million, right? You're being reasonable and you're telling them, hey, this is what I think I'm gonna observe, and this is the reason why you ask. What I'm saying, yeah. Normally, if you act in a pretty, I'm saying, nice manner, right? That can they're definitely kind of consider, especially if you did well in the interviews and they really want you, right? They'll approve a lot of things, right?
Google was always my top choice, so I accepted and will start soon.
Awesome.
A concern. I did find it a bit off-putting that Google's interviewer panel was all white men. All my other interview panels had at least one woman on them.
Damn.
I shared my concern with my recruiter. I don't like being the only woman on large team. She apologized and said about 30% of the engineers on the team identify as female.
Wow, that's pretty good. 30% of the engineers are female, so that's a pretty good.
But that due to vacation schedules, she wasn't able to schedule any for my panel.
Wow, guys. So this is she's a pretty good one, right? She pretty much shared her resources that she used, right? the kind of problem she got, right? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, pretty much our experience, man. So this was a very, very great post. I really, truly, truly like it, guys, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pretty much quickly go through the comments, right, to see what they said, right? So this guy said, go do most hard problems on 30 minutes, right? So he's referring to what she said prior, right? Says, well, crap, I'm screwed then, right? So a lot of people are gonna feel like that, right? You know what I'm saying? Because hard problems under 30 minutes, that means you're very, very well versed and in your coding algorithm skills, right? So yeah, pretty much a lot of comments, people congratulating her, you know what I'm saying that they're very, very happy for her, and she's truly an inspiring post, guys. So she's a very, very good one. I like it myself, right? Those are very, very true one, guys. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to kind of watch this video, guys. It really means a lot. And I'm saying, if you're new here, guys, consider subscribing to the channel, because we have an amazing community here, a community of people who are serious about leveling up their skills as it relates to the coding interviews, guys. So it was really great watching with you guys. So if you guys have some more time, guys, I would advise you guys to go check out those other videos that I have here on this channel. So they'll pop up here, and you guys should go check them out. And yeah, and I'll see you guys over there. And